EA Sports. It's in the game.
Welcome to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, which is the location for today's race. The cars are out on the grid, so let's join the action down on the track. The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, 2.6 miles of track that allows drivers to take full advantage of their cars, reaching speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and providing lots of opportunities for overtaking. The circuit features 17 corners, 10 to the right and the remaining 7 going to the left. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are 3 main things to worry about there, Crofty. Positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid we have Bottas, Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo, and Fernando Alonso. Sainz, Norris, Stroll, and Charles Leclerc. Vettel, Ocon, Yuki Tsunoda, and Gasly, Mazepin, Giovinazzi, George Russell, and Mick Schumacher, Raikkonen, and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, DRS is now available. P3. Gap to car in front is 4.3 seconds. They're on fresh softs. Bottas is behind you. Less than a second separate you. They're on fresh softs. Okay, gap to leader, 5.9 seconds. This is your final lap of the race. That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. Lewis Hamilton takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after an excellent result. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
Lance Stroll certainly put in an impressive performance today. No doubt his team and fans are extremely proud.
Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one. Welcome to the Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne for what no doubt will be an intense day of racing. We're a stone's throw from the enormous Port Phillip Bay for today's race at the 3.3-mile Albert Park circuit. It's a bumpy racing surface here, and the 16 corners could prove especially difficult in the wet conditions. Watch out for a safety car at some point during the Grand Prix. It's not going to be plain sailing for our drivers today. Although with the sky falling as it is, perhaps sailing isn't too far from the truth. Anthony Davidson, could be a wet one today. Great to have you with us. What are your thoughts?
It is a touch damp, isn't it? Well, as a driver, there are three big things to worry about when racing in these kind of conditions: standing water, tyre temperature and visibility. And judging distance to the cars around you is really tricky when you're driving through the vast amounts of spray that these wet weather Pirelli tyres kick up.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Verstappen, Pierre Gasly and Sainz, Vettel, Leclerc, Stroll and Daniel Ricciardo, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Yuki Tsunoda and Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Mazepin, Kimi Raikkonen and George Russell. Latifi and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
P7, 7th place. Vettel ahead. Okay, gap ahead is 1.9 seconds. Ricciardo behind. Our gap to first place is 5.8 seconds. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. Just 3 laps to go now. 3 laps. Okay, good work. Great pass. This is your final lap of the race. Race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Another superb Australian Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, keeping their tyre temperatures up in the tricky wet conditions was really important. There's not much grip out there at the best of times, and it's 10 times worse if you're out there on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a huge advantage today.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
Well, my driver of the day has to be Charles Leclerc. He was unstoppable out on the track today, weaving through the competition with ease.
Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.